Hello and welcome to a quick technical video on how to restore the menus if you lose them on Abel. There's been a few postings on Facebook recently about people who've lost their menus, and consequently I thought it would be useful to just put together a very quick video for you to show you how to resolve this problem. So this is an Abel screen that we have in front of us, and you can see here that we haven't got any of the menus that normally sit there. If we go to the view menu and select the file bar or the progress bar or the ringing bar, you see they don't appear. They've all disappeared and won't come back whatever you do. Now I'm sure that Chris will fix this in the next version, but just as a way to resolve this rather than having to remove, deinstall and reinstall, you can go and edit one of the configuration files within Abel to resolve this. Now, one word of warning here, you are fiddling with configuration files, so if you find or you're not confident in doing this, then please make sure that you take a backup of any file before you make the change. So the settings for Abel are set on a per user basis, and within Windows, we're using Windows 10 here, there are a set of files for each user that you can find as follows. So if you open up File Manager, you will end up with a screen like this, and you need to select your primary disk. So for here it's the C drive. If you then go down, you'll find a folder called Users. If you go into Users, you'll find all of the users that you have installed on this machine. Now, I know that this user here is me, so if I double click on that, you'll find that you get lots of information and lots of files about the settings for your user. Now, the one we want is actually hidden. So at the top of the screen here, we have the home menu. We also have a view menu. You need to click on here, the item which says hidden items. And while you're here, also just click on file name extensions as well, as it makes it easy to find the file that we're looking for. And you'll see that you can now have access to a folder called app data. If you have hidden items unchecked, you see app data disappears. So if you go into app data, you'll find another folder here called local, and under local you have a list of all of the folders that are relevant to your machine, and the one that called Abel Sim at the top here, that's the one that covers the Abel settings. In here you'll find a file called abel.ini. This is a configuration file for the settings for the user that you're in for Abel. So before we go any further, we're going to close the Abel program that we have in the background, and then the abel.ini file, if you double click on it, it will open the file in Notepad. Now, this is the one that you must be very careful to make a backup of if you have any doubts in what you're doing. So quickly to do that, just right click and say, or drag it, right click and drag it and say copy here. That will make a copy of the file. So we can go back into the abel.ini and just leave that one there for the moment. And if we scroll down, these are all the settings for Abel. And the ones that we are interested in are these bar settings here, bar 0, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. So if we simply delete the line which says visible equals 0, you can also put a semicolon at the front of it like that, but for our purposes we'll just delete it. Okay, I've done all of them, so that's all of the bars. The next thing it talks about recent file lists. We don't want that. If you now file and save it, close that window. If we now go and reopen Abel, you can see that you've got your bars back. Okay, so that very simply is how to restore the bars if they disappear within Abel. As I said, I'm sure that Chris will be making some change to that and resolving the problem in the next version, but for those who are stuck at the moment, I hope that helps. So that's all from me, and good luck with your ringing.